Hello! In this video we will go even deeper into working with 3D Studio Max software, by looking at some of the most used modifiers, with which we will easily model our objects. And what exactly are the modifiers? They are certain algorithms and operations that allow us to change the shape of the object. The modifiers are positioned in a separate list, which combines several dozen options for editing objects. Modifiers are an essential part of 3D Studio Max software and polygon modeling. Here it is important to note that one of the most important features of polygonal modeling in the program is the ability to use the so-called soft selection. This feature allows us to move selected points, vertices, edges and polygons so that unselected parts of the form move with them. The behavior of unselected items depends on the program settings. That is why, before we begin the review of the most commonly used modifiers, I would like to show you how to prepare some settings so that we can optimize our work. Basically, the modifiers are on the Modify button and then the modifier list. As we can see, they are many, and in this video we will show you how to display the modifiers you use most often. Click on the Configure Modifier Sets button and select the button at the top of the same name. In the window that opens, we see absolutely all the modifiers that are available. To add a shortcut modifier, increase the number of buttons from total buttons. We will add a modifier to see how this works. Currently there are 12 buttons, but I will add another one. For this purpose, from the Total Buttons button, increase the number of buttons from 12 to 13 and add Symmetry. Placing on the button is done by dragging and OK. If you are arranging your buttons for the first time, and you do not see them, you should check if the Show Buttons button is highlighted. If not, highlight it and the buttons will be displayed. So let me introduce you to the most used modifiers. Press Alt+W to enlarge the screen. The first modifier I will show you is Symmetry. It serves for quick and easy shaping of symmetrical objects. Now I will show you how it works. We have created an object and only this part is modeled. It is very convenient for modeling cars and various symmetrical objects. Let's imagine that this is one part of the car we modeled. Instead of changing the same part, select one of the edges and click Symmetry. As you can see, the other part of the object is automatically created. If Symmetry does not appear, pay attention to which of the three axes, X, Y or Z, the object will appear. The other way to visualize Symmetry is through the Flip button and it will appear. In our case, we need the object along the X-axis and remove the flip. The next modifier I will show you is Shell. It serves to thicken the shell of the object. Here we will have two parameters, one extrude inwards and outwards, and the other is straight corners. If we have modeled an inner wall, we convert to poly and press the Shell button. We see what deformation the edge makes after we have activated it. In this case we press the straight corners button and the angle becomes straight. Another modifier used is editable poly. We create an object, press the Editable Poly button and we can modify it. The next modifier is Turbo Smooth. For example, if we have a sphere created or some other object on which we want to increase the number of polygons, we choose Turbo Smooth. We see how the number of landfills themselves is increasing. It is recommended not to exceed certain values above 4, because the object becomes very heavy. Another modifier that will be very useful to you is FFD. We create a box, and if we want to change its shape, we choose FFD, then control points so that we can move the points themselves. In this way we can create an arch, for example, without the need to create new polygons and change them one by one. Another modifier that is often used in texture is UV Map and Unwrap. It helps us to text the objects correctly. As we have seen, the 3D Studio Max software offers us many modifiers and options for editing our objects. There is no way to look at each of the long lists, but as an exercise each of you can try out the possibilities of the program, because as I mentioned in previous lessons, the best teacher is practice. Well, friends, practice, but don't forget to take a look at the materials on our site, as well as follow the next video tutorial.